Great. Thank you. Welcome again, everyone that is here. If you are here to hear a webinar about how to work flexibly as a social media manager, you were in the right place. I will do intros and make sure that you know who you're hearing from. And of course, we have a huge thank you to Kara Kavanaugh from the South Shore Moms for getting the word out about this particular webinar. But we know that everyone is busy, and it is okay if you are multitasking, if you are listening to this, if you have your camera on, camera off, muted, whatever works for you. We want to make sure that, of course, you hear this live wherever life takes you this morning, but you are also going to get the recording to this. So don't feel like you need to grab every single note as we go through all the details. So again, good morning. Good morning, Megan. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Thank
Megan.
you.
Hi.
So I'm going to go right ahead as I do and start sharing my screen because we have a lot to cover, and some slides will certainly keep me on task. All right. So like I said, thank you all. Thanks for making the time. I really look at this, take a minute to just prepare yourself and say, I am doing something for myself because knowledge is power. And if nothing else, you leave here today with more information about a way to work flexibly than you might have known before today. So as I said, we'll give some intros here. And my name is Emily Hay. I am the CEO of Hey There Social Media, and I have my business partner, Allie, here, and I would love for Allie to talk about herself. But first, we need to at least thank Kara. Kara, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you through the collaboration that Hey There Social Media has had with the Local Moms Network. And we are all here so excited because of what you have done to spread the word among the South Shore Moms community. So no formal presentation from you, but would you like to just touch base with everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been such a great experience so far working with you, Emily and Allison and the team. As a community manager for over a decade, I've seen the landscape of social media change, and the abilities for people to work from home, to work at their own flexible schedule. There are so many businesses and people in the area that have their own entity and they need the social media, but they're like, oh my gosh, I'm just so busy with everything else. And so what can I do to, where can I get some social media assistance? And that's where Hey There's really shines, because this is such a great group of ladies, like-minded, that are there to help. And, to be able to do this on your own is really great. I'm sitting here in my kitchen. My daughter's, in the other room. My husband's downstairs working. And so we have one other at camp, and so it's great to be able to multitask this way. And so, and like I said, the crew over at Hey There has been a dream. You've been a dream. Absolutely incredible. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, we're so thrilled again to be among women that walk the walk every day of, look, work-life integration is just acknowledging the reality of life, right? And flexible work is just so important to us in so many ways. So thank you again, Kara, for convening a group today. As I mentioned, I'm Emily Hay, and I have my business partner here, Allie. So Allie, feel free to give an intro.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's so exciting to be here with you. Thank you for coming. My background is mainly in automotive retail professionally, where I spent about 15 years doing the traditional corporate, all kinds of hours, not acknowledging the fact that I was a mom of 3 children and did not have any maternity leave, and finally got to a point in my career where I decided that it was time to find a different option to make a more meaningful footprint for me. And that's when I joined forces with Emily, and it's been a few years now. We haven't looked back, trying to bring this opportunity to more women all over the country. So we're excited to be here and have you learn a little bit more about what we do.
Thank you, Allie. All right, I will just let everyone know a little bit about what we'll go through today. So we will take a quick minute to just talk about what that social media industry is looking like today. And since we are on the other side of the pandemic, flexible workers, the flexible future of work, it is here. So it brings a lot of opportunity. We'll talk about some of the skills that you need, because let's be honest, if you are on this webinar, listening to this recording, accessing this information somehow, you clearly already know how social media works. The secret is really having the confidence to package your knowledge and be able to charge for what you're doing and the benefits that you bring to a business. We'll talk about how to get into this line of work. Nothing is more clear, I think, than examples and real life stories of some of the transformations of women that have said, okay, I think this is for me, and let me see what it looks like on the other side. one of our most FAQs is definitely, so what can I earn doing this work? So we'll make sure to spill the tea there. And of course, we will leave today with giving you some next steps. If you say, okay, I think I'm ready to at least give myself an opportunity to get into this line of work. Allie, as always, chime in, and
Sure.
we can certainly be casual. If anyone wants to add anything into the chat, go right ahead, or feel free to interrupt as we go. But we'll leave a few minutes for Q&A towards the end too. Okay, so we're going to talk about Marie for a quick second. And I feel that many women resonate with Marie because not only is she a mom, she's educated, she wants professional fulfillment. She's someone that is just looking for work-life integration. And as I said, work-life integration is really just life and acknowledging all the challenges of the demands that life brings us today. So we look at flexible work and being a freelance social media manager as one particular way to be able to own work-life integration. So this slide here, it is a busy one. There's a lot of text, and this eye chart is going to point out two things for you. First of all, we're excited to be talking about social media because this is an industry that is not only established, but continues to grow, continues to evolve, and businesses continue to feel the pain every day of not doing it well. Social media is just growing, and also so many of us women are the key decision makers in our homes, and who better than a female decision maker to be the social media manager for a business. Now, this bottom half of this slide here, Allie and I did a piece for Fast Company where we really talked about, I'm going to go ahead and admit someone, sorry guys, multitasking. We talked about how freelancing is such a powerful way to work flexibly, but we feel like freelance is still kind of a mysterious term, or is something that a lot of professionals just disqualify themselves from. And maybe it's because it's a lack of knowledge, or you've been used to a traditional 9-to-5 corporate work environment, but freelance is a vehicle of entrepreneurship. I mean, it is a way that you can become an entrepreneur, become a small business owner. And what we find is that businesses are going more towards bringing in freelance workers, but we have to learn how to do this work because, again, it's like learning corporate America. You need to learn a new way to work and a new way to thrive.
And I will tell you, just real quickly, coming from the corporate business side and having worked with about 100 different vendors and partners, social media is still a huge area of opportunity for most businesses out there. And nearly all of them are not doing it the most effective way possible. So this is a huge need. And oftentimes, if it's a startup and a smaller business, it could be the first hire outside of the core team that has started the company.
Thank you, Allie. That's right. You definitely sit on the other side of the desk of hiring folks to do this work for you. So here, as we talk about, I speak metaphors, as you can see, freelance being that entrepreneurial highway, and social media happens to be one vehicle. Like, why become a social media manager? How does that work? What does that mean? So let's talk a little bit about that. So as I said, businesses will hire you. So they outsource to you. You are an outsourced team member. You are a contracted team member to them. And that therefore makes you a small business owner. It makes you a self-employed professional. So you are working for yourself if you are a freelance social media manager. But the neat thing with it is you can offer a wide range of services. So that's where we talk to a lot of people that say, okay, I get social media, like writing the posts and publishing the posts, but there are so many services outside of just content creation. And a couple of them, you can do strategy, you can do consulting. You might have a client that says, we think we can do our own social media, but we need some coaching. So don't think that you are the only service you offer is doing the social media for them. But we have many people that decide to specialize maybe in social media metrics, or they really niche down and just do social media ads for their clients. So I could spend the whole time talking about that, but at least want to open your eyes that there are so many services outside of just writing and posting as a social media manager. As for many avenues to work, so again, I talked about you are an outsourced contractor, so you will have clients that you work with directly. There are ways to what's called subcontract. And let's say a PR agency, they might not want to hire full-time social media managers on staff, but you could be a contractor that they go to regularly. So you subcontract through them. One thing I did throughout my tenure as a freelance social media manager, I got to work on really big accounts because I was subcontracting under agencies. So I had plenty of small to medium-sized businesses that were my clients directly. But like I said, it was really cool to get to work on big, huge brands as part of a larger team. And I learned a lot that way too. Some of the benefits. So here we'll talk, of course, as I said, about social media being a very in-demand industry. We really like to point out that social media is truly flexible work. And I make this comparison between working flexibly and truly flexible work. So we've learned you can take a laptop to your home office or your closet or your basement, and you can be working flexibly, but it's very different to have a line of work that allows you to have the flexibility of when you do the work. In other words, you don't have to necessarily have your rear end in a seat from 9 to 5, even if it's your home office. This is flexible work that you can work around, your kid's schedule or your schedule. It works well if you're a morning person or if you're a night owl. So it's just something to point out, because a lot of times, again, looking for flexibility, you might think, well, as long as I can work from home, that counts. It's not quite that simple. We have another colleague who isn't on our webinar today, but Kelly is her name, and she talks so much about how she really learned how to ramp up and ramp down and even set her own rates in this industry. So seasons of motherhood, we're sitting here in summer. If you have very limited amount of time to dedicate to your work, then, come spring, you can be ramping down your projects. But with a new season, whether it's back to school or the new year, when you have more bandwidth, then you can, of course, take on more work. And then again, you are a business owner, so you have the ability to set your own rates. While that is a life lesson in and of itself of what to charge for this work, it is something that you have the ability to control. Okay, a jump along here. So just thinking about yourself here for a minute. And again, social media isn't a mystery to anyone here, but how do you know if this could be a good fit for you? So I like to think about the various talents and skills that you might already have that you might not necessarily correlate to being a strong social media manager. We have so many women talk about, well, I'm creative. Like I like having a creative outlet. Maybe that's through storytelling or visually, they are a creative person. You can absolutely channel those talents by being a social media manager. We talk about being social media savvy. So do not disqualify yourself. If you say, well, I use Instagram and LinkedIn every day, but I know nothing about TikTok, that's okay. You have a working knowledge of social media. It all can be learned on the various networks. And let's be honest, as soon as we learn everything about all the social networks, another social network comes out. So if you're social media savvy, which anyone listening to this is, the rest of it is learnable. And if you consider yourself a connector type, if you don't necessarily need to be an extreme extrovert, but if you're someone who gets excited to make connections with others, remember, you'll be doing that on behalf of your clients. So perhaps you're passionate about helping small businesses and helping those small businesses reach their clients. That's what you would be doing. That is really like the work of a social media manager. And then this third section here, just we talk about being a clear communicator. So a lot of women love to write, but they've gotten away from it. Or they like to write, but they're not full author, long essay form writers. That's okay. When you're writing social media content, you can do the shorter snippets, and you really bring your creativity to what you want to write and your particular flair for writing. I mentioned a couple of other skills that we see are directly applicable to being an effective social media manager. So whether you've touched customer service or you've done sales, all of that, any of those skills apply to this line of work.
And I would say too, just to jump in, it is not a prerequisite that you love social media personally. You don't need to be a super active user that's on for hours a day. It does not, it's not necessary for that to be the definition of whether you would be good at this line of work.
Excellent point, Allie. We do hear that. We do hear oh, I have a love-hate relationship with social. Like, well, remember, you're doing this on behalf of businesses. Kara feels that one. All right. So this slide will just show you again that going off of what I said, that there are women with many different professional backgrounds and skill sets that have moved into doing social media management. You can do this as a side hustle. You can do this as a full-time thing. Again, metaphors here. I love thinking about freelance is a destination or a journey. Like you can do this as a mean to get to something else, or you might get into freelancing and you just stay there because there's opportunities that you didn't see and really fit with where you're trying to go. So again, this screenshot shows women that we've worked with that have really brought different backgrounds, family configurations, different ideas and thoughts of what it even means to be an entrepreneur or a freelancer, and have really opened their eyes to things through social media that they didn't realize existed. So this slide, also a major eye chart. I'll give you the high points. Kelly, actually on our team, speaking of work-life integration, she is overseas with her 10-year-old on a trip that she did a whole lot of her client work before she even left for. So Kelly on the right lives in the Metro Detroit area, which is where I'm based. But these three screenshots just show very different women. Sansari on the left was someone with a big resume gap and said, I'm going to learn how to sell insurance, or I'm going to learn how to do social media. And it was really that push to get her back into workforce reentry, and she was able to apply it in a number of ways. Layla, as you can see here, so she was already familiar with freelancing and she was a PR pro. And so of course added social media as another skill set that her clients could benefit from. And Kelly, who usually speaks for herself when we do a webinar session here, Kelly has always just talked about being someone, yes, she has a background in education, but she always liked to dabble in projects. And so it's really been able to give her the ability to continue doing that and continue earning more as she progresses with her expertise. Now, this slide here, so I talked a little bit about some transformations where women have been and where they're going with this skill set. But Kimberly is a woman, she is an East Coaster, and she's someone who met us. Gosh, she used to have ties to Michigan. And so she was someone with, again, she had a resume gap and was the self-proclaimed, I am a stay-at-home mom. I do not know where this is going to take me, but I'll hope for the best. So the spoiler is this quote from Kimberly is about 2 years old now. And Kimberly has not only niched down into doing social media for podcast hosts, she has taught herself just from working with podcast hosts how to do podcast production. So think about a podcast host as your client, and they are cranking out episodes. So that's a lot of content for a social media manager to hear and make reels and make certain clips, for social media for. And so Kimberly thought, well, I can just learn how to produce these episodes, these podcast episodes, and then I can charge my clients more. The client then doesn't need a podcast producer. So she is the definition of someone who went into this not knowing what her role could look like. And not only, as I said, has she niched down into podcasts as her clients, doing the podcast production, she's been invited to speak. She has a client that is a home organizer. And so this home organizer has a summit every year, and Kimberly comes and leads a whole session about social media marketing. So I kid you not, like, talk to Kimberly. She is someone who totally undersold herself and was like, whatever, let me just learn this and see what I can make of it. But number of years have gone by very quickly, and she's totally thriving in this space. All right, we'll talk about earning potential here. So as I've said throughout the webinar here, you are a freelancer, you are an independent contractor. So therefore, as an entrepreneur, the sky truly is the limit. Now, this slide here talks about compensation can vary based on so many factors. And Allie, I'd love for you to talk a bit about this, but I will just make a quick caveat that depending on where you are in the country, that can make a difference on what you charge. Depending on the size businesses you work with, that can make a difference of what you charge. So Allie, anything you'd like to add on this slide?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I would just take these numbers, like some of the numbers you can find online, with a grain of salt. I think it's very easy to listen to yourself and know exactly what you think your appetite is and your bandwidth is. But really, it could be where you have a couple larger projects that you're working on and you feather in a few medium to small size projects. It really is a matter of how many hours you want to spend working per week, and then just kind of back into it from there. But there's certainly the demand out there from the clients.
Thank you, Allie. Yes, I love that you pointed out that the women that we've worked with, and really many freelance professionals, will have multiple clients at any one time. So again, we could use a whole half hour to talk about pricing, but we will say that we advocate for monthly retainers. So that's why you'll see these, services starting at a range, but the translation of what it would be hourly. So again, happy to field questions around that, but thank you for talking through that, Allie.
No problem.
All right. So as we sit here with a group of very busy people who, like I said, may be multitasking, the timing consideration, we can always find reasons to not try something new and to not say like, oh, this is the perfect time. So we just want to acknowledge that. And we want to say that we love that you're curious enough to catch this live or watch a recording to just learn about an industry that you probably already knew about, but now you might be seeing how it can apply to your skills and that it has more opportunity than you realize. And so with busy life, with kids and everything else like shoved in your life, we get it, that there is no perfect time. So that's why we've really come up with this program that Kara talked about in the beginning. And again, Hey There Social Media, if you missed the beginning, we had a collaboration with the Local Moms Network, and that's how we got to know Kara. And so that brings us to really our primary offering. So this also a very busy slide. This is the on-ramp that I keep talking about. So if freelance is an entrepreneurial highway and social media is a vehicle, Hey There is your on-ramp. So Hey There has a program that we just call Core Training. And so this core training, you've got all the features off to the right here, but the short story is this is a 6-week program that we teach live on Zoom or pre-recorded. You can catch the webinar recordings if that's easier for you. When you complete this program, you will also get a proof of completion certification. The other thing is you're looking at this wheel or this pie off to the left. We love our company colors, what can I say? But there is intention between the different colors here. So as you can see, the top, those coral modules, those are more freelance general, teaching you how to really run parts of your business, while the turquoise modules along the bottom are dialed in to the skills you need to be a social media manager. So we just want to point out that this is very holistic. This is not, let me take 6 weeks of learning all the features of TikTok. It is so much more to that. And that's where we get really excited and passionate about seeing that those freelance topics are evergreen for becoming a small business owner and being able to charge what you're worth and expand the services that you offer. So we do have this main core training that I talked about. And what we want anyone to do today is just schedule a call with us, because I could talk about all of the features of our program. But what really makes a difference is when you talk with us to hear, okay, so could this work for me? Like, here's what I'm thinking I want to do. Help me piece together how learning this material can help me reach my goals. So with that said, we had just mentioned to Kara that yes, she's familiar with this core training, but Hey There is really excited to launch this next version of our program called Core Training Lite. And so it's taking all that we've covered in core training and putting it basically in a box. It has a light version, a way to dip your toe into freelance life, social media management expertise at a lower price point, that ultimately is going to still give you the support that we're very excited to offer. And that support, that's the monthly community that we offer. And Allie and Kelly and I, we are mentors to our community. So you are literally hearing from the people that work with you every day. And this light version, like we said, is simply a way for women to just get some exposure to this idea and potentially apply this to a larger commitment to be a social media manager down the road. So again, a lot of information in front of you here, but thank you again, Kara, for being here with us. That we have made sure to give a promo code for anyone with the South Shore Moms. And this is so hot off the press that you might not have even put this in anywhere in your link tree anywhere. So
I haven't. I'll have to get all of the stuff from you, all the assets, all the everything.
Amazing. Yes. So So with our core training, our signature program, yes, with Kara's separate promo code on that, we definitely give a discount there. But with core training Lite, we are trying to make this as no brainer as it gets. Take your 20% off, get your free shipping, all with Kara's code, and you will not see this code on our website. So we'll make sure to get that to Kara.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
And
All right,
I'll just add
go
real
ahead,
quick.
Allie.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just read an article about the fact that it takes a village to raise a child has really gone away.
Mhm.
And I know I personally have experienced that, trying to figure it out by myself, grasping at different people to try and find sitters. And it does feel kind of like a lonely journey for women, even if you're married. And I think that it's the same thing as a freelancer. You can go it alone, you can try and figure it out, you can reinvent the wheel and go through the research. But what you're really, investing in here is a shorter timeline, not alone, with a village of people that are on different, points of their journey, but all together in that way of sharing a common, like-minded way that they want to be professionally fulfilled and take care of the other responsibilities that they have in their life. So I think it's important to note whether it's something that you're investing more time and upfront investment in yourself in the core training where you attend live modules with us, or if it's a self-guided journey through the box, you're still going to be way ahead of where you'd be alone.
Thank you, Allie. Yes, again, in modern times, the whole village concept sadly has been sidelined for how we care for our families, but it truly applies to our professional lives too.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing as we're sitting here talking, when I was community manager for a local franchise business in my 20s and early 30s. And I wore a lot of hats. I did event planning. I did the social media. I did, PR outreach. I did everything because it was a small company. So I kind of encompassed all those roles. And I know that if you guys were here 10 years ago and I could have used some extra social media training, I know that this would have been something that my business that I worked for, the company that I worked for, would have said, absolutely, we'll back you up on the training if you feel like this is something that could really add to your role. I know that they would have done it. And so, I'm just sitting here going, but the other so those ad piece, and I'm sorry, I had a question too, but we might not be ready for questions yet. So
no, go for it, Kara. Go ahead.
I was just wondering, for anybody that signs up for the Lite version, can they apply what they pay towards the bigger program?
100%. I
Okay.
love that you asked that. Yes. So again, we've been at this for a couple of years with honing and perfecting
Mhm.
our core training and seeing what's working and how we can add additional support. So we have been very diligent with that first part before we even went down the path of Lite.
Mhm.
So with Lite, we said, you know what? Absolutely. If you spend, with your promo, you're 20% off, but whatever you pay to Hey There for Lite can absolutely be applied to the tuition for core training.
Okay. I thought the answer might be yes, but I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, no, I love it. It was a complete candid question.
Great.
Here, I mean, this QR code is going to take you to our site. Of course, I've given you Kara's codes, but we know that you are welcome to chat, as we said, before you even go down the path of redeeming coupon codes. But we have a Calendly in the footer of our site that you can schedule something with us. Other next steps, I mean, if scheduling a call isn't what you want to do at the moment, certainly DM us through Instagram. If you heard about us from Kara, I might put you on the line. Hey, message Kara. Kara will get you in touch with us.
I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll say, having gone through your program, the amount of knowledge, the valuable knowledge that you provide, that you're able to, and it's not just like you're learning it and it goes away. It's like a guide that you get from this training program, and that guide lives on your computer for forever, and you refer back to it. And what's so great about this program, and like I said, I'm not somebody who's trying to sell this to anybody, but having been a community manager and seeing the information and the resources that this program provides is really, truly awesome. I mean, everything is right there in front of you. The questions that you're like, okay, well, how should I write this? There's an example right there. It's really, and social media is changes all the time. I mean, all the time, as we know, but I know that, this program will continue to change as well with that in the community. So I can't say enough good things. I really can't. And I'm so excited to be a part of your group. So I hope that helps anybody out there listening to really wonder, like, okay, well, what's included with the program? What's here? These resources are invaluable. They really are. So
Thank you, Kara. And that's, again, a really great point, that this is, I think I said before, but really this is not social media newbie. You do not have to be a full-blown social media manager, but you had dabbled in this work and you did this at one point and you've done it for business. It's all learnable, it applies to women that have even been in this space for a while. So we'd love to chat with anyone more. Again, thank you for everyone's time that has been on live or watching this recording. I'll go ahead and stop recording. And like we said, feel free to reach out, email, or head to the website or through Instagram. And we thank you for your time. So let me stop.